Hey, Boomhauer here. Wanted to discuss campaign because that's a topic that I haven't addressed yet. And as you've watched this channel, you probably noticed I'm more into the puzzles side of puzzles and survival than the survival side. I try to understand some of the march mechanics and stuff like that, but the match 3 is definitely my stronger of the two. So for campaign 3, if you go into the personal campaign rank, there are 532 stages if you complete all of the unlocked campaign 3 stages. So I'm the first person under 1 billion might who has completed campaign 3. Jaco and Son of Assyria are obviously very, very strong players and also good players. But my heroes are a little bit weaker than theirs. So I do need more of a combination of strategy and hero strength in addition to just hero strength to finish some of these stages. So for campaign 3, what you're going to find, first of all, the reason to do campaign 3 is because of this hero enhancement. So from 350 to 351, you're going to need 3,000 of these books that you can only get in campaign 3. And the farther you get in campaign 3, the more of these books you will get per stage as you blitz the stages or whatever else. I've currently gotten 2 heroes to 351, Phoenix and Fox, because they're on my arena defense, and it doesn't hurt to artificially inflate your might a little bit on the arena defense because people won't challenge you as much. So a couple stages in campaign 3 that I want to point out. I actually created an album for this. Let me start with the 3 hardest stages that you're going to face. One of these stages is 379. And while I'm discussing this, I'll just say the 2, if you want to say MVP heroes of campaign 3 for me, were without question Zephyr and Lady M. Fox and Phoenix are both good. Ulrich is good. Some of these stages, though, I would not have finished without Zephyr or Lady M, or both. Zephyr, the big advantage of Zephyr is that he has that counterattack ability, which will factor into one of the stages I'll cover here in a minute. But especially if you're facing an opponent, one of these, boss heroes that hits all of your opponents, you're guaranteed to get 3 counterattacks out of that because they're going to hit Zephyr and the 2 next to him. And there have been a couple stages like 379 where Zephyr was the only one standing at the end of the event. So this is a winning lineup for 379. The second hardest stage, in my opinion, is 339. The problem with this stage is this hero that you can see here, the zombie, can out-heal all the damage you're doing. So they have about 15,000 health, and they heal 10%. So they'll heal 1,500 HP each time, but your tiles will deal maybe 100 or 200 damage if you're lucky. So you're going to re-rage them, and they're going to out-heal you. And the zombie on the right, which is not shown here, is going to do over 10,000 damage after a few rounds and kill all of your heroes. There's a reason Atropos is in here, and I'll discuss that in a minute. The hardest stage on campaign 3, in my opinion, is 369. I got some suggestions for things to try on 369, which usually involved a red star Iron Claw, which I don't have. This lineup, though, works on 369, even without the red star Iron Claw. Myers did not survive to see the end of this, but the rest of them did. Again, Zephyr is not effective on this because of the way that the enemy rages work, which are pretty subtle. Not shown here is the enemy on the left. The enemy on the left, when they rage, they debuff all of your buffs. And if they both rage at the same time, the left hero always rages before the right. So if you have Zephyr counterattack active, it's only going to last one round because your effects only last one round in this. And the left hero debuffs the counterattack before the right hero rages. So the counterattack is useless. I tried it a few different ways and could never get it to work. But this lineup worked pretty well. Myers raises your attack, Ulrich lowers their defense, and Phoenix attack raises over time, which can't be debuffed or can't be dispelled. So this lineup worked. It'll still take you a few times. It's kind of ultimate challenge type, where you might need to try it a few times, even if you have a good lineup. Go into the final round of this, stage 3 of 3, the boss part, hopefully with a yellow dynamite so you can re-rage Lady M. And you want to target the left zombie so that they can't build rage, and then you can re-rage Lady M quickly with that yellow dynamite. And both the bosses are purple, so the yellow tiles deal extra damage. So let me get back to some of the problems with Campaign 3. I guess we can just start with the final level here because this shows some of it. So you're going to have these debuffs, which are pretty significant on a lot of these stages. This is a common debuff. You'll rage much quicker than usual. However, your attack will be down 50% unless you do something to counteract that, like Phoenix not being dispellable for her raising attack, or Myers raising your team's attack, or McCarty, or whoever you want to use to raise your team's attack. You can counteract some of that. And also the status effects only last one round, which is a big problem. So like I said with Zephyr, the counterattack is only valid for one round, so you need the enemy zombies to rage basically right away, or your counterattack is not going to counterattack their rage. So if you have something like a dynamite or something else that you can guarantee that they're going to rage, then it works, but otherwise it's really tricky to manage. Also, Zephyr's heal effect does not work, because that starts taking effect on the next turn after you rage Zephyr, and by that turn, everything's already been dispelled. So likewise with like Phoenix, the ignite damage is never going to happen because the first ignite damage happens on the second round after you rage Phoenix, and by that point your effects have already been dispelled. So these stages are definitely very tricky. These bosses do massive damage. So the good thing about Zephyr is he does that much damage plus some back in return. So if you can get a Zephyr to red star, if you're a fighter, you have an advantage. He will do some very, very significant damage back in return whenever one of these overpowered zombies hits you. So one other thing about Campaign 3 is, I think I had a photo for this too. You see some of these zombie stages, which you start to see on Campaign 2 also. These can be just a real pain. So the first two waves, before you even get to the bosses, the zombies can build rage and then hit you with a really, really strong attack, and then deal poison damage on top of that, which on Campaign 3, that poison damage deals like 1,500 damage per turn. So your hero is going to be dead within a round or two if they even survive the hit to deal that poison damage. So this is a lineup I like using against the poison stages. So again, when they rage, they deal a lot of damage to you. So Zephyr counterattacking them, if they deal 2,000 to you, then he'll deal 2,500 back to them. Or something, yeah, kind of in that ballpark. Lady M can prevent them from raging, so you can hit them with a bunch of tiles and raise the rage of the heroes you need to rage. And also, she also prevents status effects for 2 rounds. Some of these stages, I think the effects only last 1 round, like I showed before. So that, status effect only lasts 1 round, so she's only going to help you if they, try to poison you basically on the next round. Or possibly it might even be debuffed by then, because, yeah, usually the second round things don't last for, more than that 1 round. Fox can heal status effects, so she can heal poison, she can also raise your defense, and she heals, so she's very valuable. Mantis heals status effects and also depletes their rage, so he's also very good on this. Phoenix, again, is just on here because her attack keeps going up over 16 rounds up to a max of 80%. Which is pretty valuable because these will last more than 16 rounds, trust me. On most of the Campaign 3 stages, the first 2 waves, they're really overpowered and they take a long time to beat. So you're going to be at 16 rounds by the time you face the bosses. So my baseline lineup on Campaign 3, I don't have a... let me go back to a stage where I can actually show you a lineup. Sorry about that. So my baseline offense on Campaign 3 is this. So you want 1 hero of each color, just so all the tiles do some kind of damage. Eve I don't think is great, but she does heal, and she also raises the rage regen rate. If you rage Ulrich and then Phoenix, you're going to do a lot of damage because Ulrich lowers their defense and then Phoenix hits them pretty hard. So this is the baseline that I was using. I just red starred Lady M for basically the second half of Campaign 3. Prior to that, I was using this, and prior to that, I would even use this. So any of those offenses will serve you pretty well in Campaign 3. But it's still going to be pretty hard in the end. Some of these stages are very difficult. It's not like it's a surprise when Jaco and Son of Assyria are the only 2 that have beaten this, and they both have a lot of +8 heroes. I don't have any +8 heroes, although Zephyr is kind of unfairly strong. So, I don't have any +8 heroes, but I do have an advantage that one of the ones which is really, really good in Campaign 3 is one that I prioritize because I'm fighter. So, I think that was some of the highlights of Campaign 3 that I wanted to discuss, because it's kind of an unexplored area in the state, especially for people that are not 1 billion plus might. So I just wanted to share some of the things I learned as I went through it. If you have questions on individual stages, let me get back to 339 for a second. So 339, that was the one where I said the enemy bosses can out-heal your damage, and you also have that disadvantage that your status effects only last 1 round, unless they're undispellable. So why did I have Atropos in my lineup? Because Atropos, if you look at this, she can reduce the heal rate of the enemies, which is not able to be dispelled. So you can get around that limitation of only 1 round of it lasting by using undispellable effects like this. So instead of healing 10%, they only heal 5%, which really helps a lot. Another hero that people recommended on that stage is Lavina, who is one that I don't even have to +4 yet. She also has an undispellable effect, though, where she can provide this heal stealing effect for 3 rounds. So this will last 3 rounds and not 1 round. So if they heal 1500 HP, Lavina is going to get the 1500 HP instead of them. So again, very, very valuable. But I didn't have her at a sufficient level to use her. I didn't have Iron Claw in some of those stages to use him. But yeah, Zephyr and Lady M, especially for the second half of Campaign 3, those are 2 that you'll find extremely, extremely valuable, trust me.